Lovers Quarrel. It's a long, sustained quarrel.
What's going on, world?
Hey, everybody.
It's your guy, TJ, Mr. New Cool.
And it's your girl, Dani, your notoriously nostalgic newt.
I know what a newt is. It was in Matilda.
Yes.
That's actually a really good movie.
One of my favorites. Lavender.
Another good movie, which I know is your shit, but I didn't really realize how good it really was. Kill Bill.
Kill Bill is definitely one of my favorite movies. Both of them.
Yeah, I rewatched. It was on, so I was in New York this week, as was Danielle, and I was in the bed, and, my father only has HBO, because that's the only thing, I think he gets it free for having DirecTV and AT&T. Mm-hmm. So it was on. I was like, fuck, let me just put it on. And I'm like, I don't remember these parts. Or, like the part that I kind of came up on. Mm-hmm. She already fought Vivica A. Fox's daughter.
Not the daughter. She fought Vivica A. Fox.
Vivica A. Fox.
That was the beginning. It was the beginning of the first movie.
Yeah, but
you saw the
when I came in, it was Buck. Buck had just paid the dude to.
Oh yeah, my name is Buck, and I like to fuck.
Yeah. Which is so fucking terrible. Mm-hmm. That shit probably really happens.
It does. That's why you have people who wind up. It was happening a couple years ago when people
someone got pregnant.
Yeah, because they were comatose in a facility, and an orderly was raping her.
Yeah. So sorry to go so left, but welcome to another episode of Lovers Quarrel. If this is your first time listening, welcome. If it's your second time, welcome back. If it's your third or more time, as I call you, you're a lover. And it wouldn't be an episode if my phone does not go off. So
exactly.
Welcome, y'all.
Did you welcome? And now I'm curious. So you watched the first one?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the second one?
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing parts of the second one. I want to rewatch both of them in their entirety.
Did you like the scene at the with Lucy Liu when she fought the 88s?
But she didn't fight. Lucy Liu didn't fight the 88s.
No, I mean when Beatrix Kiddo. I was asking what was your favorite scene from that movie?
My favorite scene is when Lucy Liu cut the nigga's head off.
Oh yeah.
Because he called her a half breed.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely.
She had to show her dominance.
Yeah, she runs the Yakuza.
Yeah, so I thought. It was just a great movie. It's probably one of Quentin Tarantino's best movies that he's directed. Another one that I like that he did, From Dusk to Dawn. That
is definitely campy, but it was good. Quentin Tarantino's very polarizing. He's a polarizing figure whose work I actually do enjoy. I enjoyed, it's a lot, but I enjoyed Django, the Kill Bills, Dusk Till Dawn. What's another Quentin Tarantino movie I like?
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that's all just to name a few. But yeah, he does a lot. Django, I always crack up. The scene that always gets me is when they were mad about the hoods.
Yes, that is your favorite part. Django was good too.
What?
I said Django was good.
Yeah. He's like, that dear nigga on a horse. Oh, Samuel Jackson was the biggest coon in that movie. But yeah, no, when they were arguing about the fucking hoods, and he was like, my wife worked all night on these hoods. He was like, I'm not coming back. I'm leaving. But they couldn't see through the holes. Oh my gosh. I'm tired, y'all. But we can just go ahead and jump on this elevator. Are you going up or down?
I'm going up.
As am I.
Okay. So, am I starting off?
Sure. Going up.
So, it's a 3-part. So, where I'm going to start off first is this family. So, I went up to New York. I wasn't going to go, but I wound up going because my mother and my niece and nephew came down, but my niece and nephew need to go back. And I was going to drive, but I didn't really want to drive. So, I was like, I'll go on a bus with them or whatever. And then I was like, I don't want to go. But I needed that. Being with my family and just having a change of scenery was what I needed. I didn't know that I needed it, but I truly needed it. And, when you look at your family and you spend time with your family and you realize that your family dynamic is not the same with every family, what you and your family have, other people may not have, or you know what I mean. So you appreciate it. Like me and my family are very close.
Very.
Yes, very close. And when you don't get to see them as much or interact with them as much, you realize how much you miss them.
Mm-hmm. Absence makes the heart go fonder.
No, definitely. But I'm just saying, COVID kind of really made it like, oh shit, like
it did because I'm
used to seeing my family once a month.
Like yeah, we would go up to New York like probably every other month if on average.
Yeah. So that's the first one. The other thing is Black TikTokers on strike. This is the best and funniest thing I've ever seen. And it just shows our power and our, you know, like I seen one and the guy was like just putting his middle fingers up and then they stole it and the person got like 800,000 views from it. But it's just like but now because we're not even doing anything, it's like damn.
They stuck.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, you know, if for anyone who may not know, like Meg Thee Stallion's new song Thot Shit, you know, it's definitely prime music for like a TikTok dance to be made to it. But the Black TikTokers came together and was like, we're not gonna do a dance for it, so that way white TikTokers can appropriate it and then get famous off of it and get more likes, followers, and you know, spotlight because of it. And so the white TikTokers have been sick trying to come up with their own dances, and these shits are the fuck terrible. The funniest one to me is when they like kind of like wave their arms in the air like this. Like that shit makes me laugh so hard because I'm like, they like the lack of creativity just like astounds me. But
well, I like that we are able to take it back and say, listen, like I honestly, and this is gonna sound, we can't be racist. What's the other? Prejudice. Mm-hmm. But I wish we kind of had something for our own. Segregation is what they'll call it, but
yeah. Well, you know, when you're honestly though, when you're the oppressed culture, it's not necessarily segregation. It's more like you're creating a safe space for yourself. I see it from that lens of like,
yeah, but you know, we live in a society where people will be like, well, you're segregating us, or you know what I mean. They'll find a way to make it about them. So for me, that's all I'm saying. But I just wish it was something like a secret code, like a speakeasy that only Black people know about. Mm-hmm. Safe. I mean, I like that. A safe space just for the Black people. You can come here. You can be yourself. You can create dances where people ain't gonna steal it or anything like that. Like it's crazy to think that people got famous off of the dances that Black people made and people glamorize those other people, like you know what I mean, like
Taylor's old as time. It's just like
I know
rock. It's like rock music in the 50s and the 60s, like the whitewashing of popular songs, and then you just make it, you know, watered down. It's the same shit, just a different platform. And that's the thing, like they like, you know, these platforms and stuff are created, or you know, things will happen and Black people are excluded from it. And so then we say, okay, well, we're just going to make our own thing. And then people get mad and be like, well, why can't we join? Why are you over there? You never make nobody happy. What's your third thing, though?
Third thing, Bow Wow versus Soulja Boy.
Oh, I need to watch it.
I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but from what I saw, I mean, I already knew Bow Wow was going to wash him. Mm-hmm. But it just took you back to, like, your childhood. You know what I mean? Because Bow Wow was like my childhood going into adulthood pretty much. And then Soulja Boy came towards my adulthood. Like a lot of his music was college music. You know what I mean? So it definitely gave me a nostalgic feeling. And, you know, I've been to like, I feel like I went to one or two Scream tours with my cousin Chantel.
I had never been to a Scream tour.
And Bow Wow, I mean, he was always the headliner, but he's a performer. So when he was doing verses, he was performing. And they were funny and joking, and it was just a good time. Yeah. It was truly just a good time, and it was something positive to see. And so those are my things.
Well, that's good. I wasn't able to watch the verses last night.
Because you was out being a thought.
Definitely wasn't. But that'll transition into my my elevator, which I'm still going to continue going up. And that was that I got to be in my old neighborhood this weekend. We talk a lot about growing up in New York, but especially when it pertains to like the time that since TJ and I have been together, but a lot of those scenes are set in Harlem. And for anyone who may not know that, but if you listen to this long enough, you should know I'm from Queens, specifically Hollis. And
but she tricked me because she went to school in Harlem. But that's
never
another
tricked
story
you.
for another day.
Never talked about being from anywhere else but Hollis.
Let my story work.
No.
Let my story go.
I
didn't say that you told me. I said you tricked me.
I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, but I got to go to my own neighborhood. I went to Hollis this weekend because a close family friend is having a baby. She's doing August, and so my sister and I, we got up there. We got with my sister's friends, and it was like at one point I had to drop Tatum to TJ in Harlem, and then I had to make my way to Queens. And when I was in the Uber, it was right before I got to my sister's other friend's house before we had all headed to the baby shower. I drove past my childhood home, which we don't own anymore. It looks different. They've remodeled the outside and put a lot of stuff up in the front or whatever. And it was just like, I got a lot of nostalgia and just about my memories. And then also too, like I'm from Queens, but like I lived in Queens from 1 to 18, but the years that I would have been like the years that you are when you start to kind of venture out on your own, I was in Harlem because I was in middle school and high school in Harlem. So I don't have like my bearings as strong in Queens. Like I know like where I'd be going, like in the radius, like the 10, 15 block radius, like around my home. But like everywhere else, it's all like, I think I remember this and the other, but it was just it was nice, but it was a little bittersweet because I'm like, I was outside of Gabby's Pizzeria, which has like the best pizza in Queens as far as I'm concerned. I went past the Poppy's, which is the bodega that's on Hollis Ave, which is 2 blocks from my house. I was at, like my sister's friends that still live there, like the houses that I like spent most of my childhood in, and when I was trying to like tag along after my sister and keep up with her, I'm there, and it was nice. It was bittersweet, but it was more sweet than bitter. And it like just reminded me that too, like I need to make sure that like Tatum and Trey will have like a familiarity with like where their mom grew up, even though like it's not my most, I don't have the. Why are you shaking your head?
Go ahead.
They need to understand that like where mommy is from Hollis, and this is what it means to live in Hollis, and then also like just like they need to understand like daddy's from Harlem, so like just understanding like their New York roots from both the Harlem and the Hollis perspective. Even though mine is a little bit more skewed, it's still very much a part of the fabric of who I am.
Just show them like New Jack City or Jungle Fever and all the crack scenes, and you got it.
Shut up.
No, I'm playing. No, I think that's important.
Because, like, like, I had to explain to Tatum, just to put into perspective, right? Tatum and Trey are going to grow up in a house. And so when I was dropping Tatum off, we come across the George Washington Bridge. And she looks to her right, she sees the river. She looks to her left, she sees buildings. So she's like, Mommy, what are these buildings on the rocks over here? And so I look and I go, oh, they're apartment buildings. And she goes, what's that? And I was like, oh shit, I have to explain apartment buildings to my daughter, because nobody she knows that she sees on a regular basis lives in an apartment building. And even though when we go to New York, even her grandparents in New York don't live in an apartment. So only when we visit like if we were to visit your brother, we would visit, your grandmother's, like that's where she would be in an apartment. But then still like the concept of like where she is, she's just thinking, we're getting on an elevator, we're going to somebody's house. But like bringing that concept together, and like the fact that we don't use that term, we'll say we're going to Uncle Anthony's house or we're going to Grandma Hattie's house, and putting that concept together for her. And I was just like, oh wow, like this is something that, you kind of don't realize that when your child or children grow up in a different sort of environment than you grew up in, how you're going to have to like clarify shit for them in that way. And that was like, it blew my mind having to explain apartments to Tatum this weekend. But shut up. But I'm still glad we did it, and I'm still glad we get to go up there, and I'm glad I got to see my, my old neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, and I think what it will allow for us to do is to make sure that we expose Tatum, right? Mm-hmm. Like when we go up to New York, she's used to being able to run out because, again, we have a driveway and all that stuff. You can't just run out in New York because you run in the street, or you may run into people and it's a different feel. But it's a lot of different things that we kind of will be able to teach our children. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and also just being patient with them, because sometimes like she doesn't understand, like, she's always like looking around. Like when we're in New York, she's always like looking up and around and over there because everything looks like new and fascinating. And as we as New Yorkers, we grew up with this, so we know what it is. It's nothing fancy or special to us. And you also know, like, you put the blinders on, you walk, like it's funny, like you put your blinders on and you keep your head on a swivel at the same time. And she's just like, what's that? Ooh. And I'm like, oh, my baby is so suburban. But 'tis what it is. But that's all I have for my elevator talk for today. And we are going to now transition into our relationship tip of the week.
You can go.
I can go. My relationship tip of the week can especially go for relationships, but can go for any ships. Regardless, it more so depends on the current state of one of the people in the relationship, and that is, do not dismiss a person's being emotional, or a woman being emotional on pregnancy or their period. Period. Full stop. Don't do it.
It definitely came from me, so.
It did, because you were wrong.
I guess.
If somebody is...
I apologize.
I forgive you. Unless somebody offers that up and says, I feel it, I feel different, I feel like I'm acting out of sorts because I feel like my hormones are getting the best of me or whatever. If somebody says that, then that's... you roll with it for that instance, not the whole time. And then but you don't say, oh, you're just being emotional because you're pregnant. That is the quickest way to get a karate chop to the throat. And had we been in the same room, I may have done it.
You are known for trying to put hands. Because you're from Queens. They don't teach conflict resolution.
They don't teach... Nigga, you have no conflict resolution.
I definitely do. Have I ever put my hands on you? Never. Never!
No, but do you know how to
talk?
Have
you ever put your hands on me?
Do you know how to talk to people?
Have you ever put your hands on me?
Once.
All right. Violent.
I mean, for what it's worth, for all the times I've chosen violence in my head, that's a pretty good record.
Not at all. A woman should never put her hands.
A person should never put their hands on anybody. But it doesn't mean I don't think about mushing you in your face. Okay. A lot of times. Because sometimes you act like...
Sounds pretty violent to me.
You act like somebody who didn't get, like, punched in the mouth a couple good times when you were younger. That's all.
I didn't.
Exactly.
Why would someone punch me in my mouth?
Because your mouth is reckless sometimes. It's not reckless?
It can be.
Okay, then.
Just don't get me there.
You can't put the onus on other people.
Nah, I can't. So you're putting the onus of wanting to hit somebody on somebody else.
No, I'm putting the onus of you watching your mouth and what comes out of it on you. And then the onus is on the person to make sure they restrain themselves so they don't go upside your head.
So relationship tip was what again?
Do not try to diminish somebody's emotions saying it's because they're pregnant or because they have their period.
Got you.
If a woman,
I didn't say anything about your period though.
I wouldn't. That's the other. You have though.
When I was like super duper young, maybe.
The point I'm saying though is that oftentimes people will dismiss a woman's emotions in the moment because she either is pregnant or they think, what are you on your period? So I was saying it to cover both bases.
Got you.
Obviously, I haven't experienced a period since the end of last year. So.
And before that, you on that good old IUD, feel me?
Yeah, but I was getting my period regularly.
You had IUD?
Not the whole time, but after I had the weight loss surgery, I started getting my period regularly again. So once I lost the weight, I still had the ID, and then I got my period regularly. What? What, you liked it when I didn't get my period, but I wasn't pregnant?
Facts.
Well, sorry for biology. It's what helps make you a father.
I get it.
So, yes, the things our bodies go through.
And we thank you.
But what's your relationship tip of the week, sir?
Inspired by this weekend, make sure to make time being apart. As I said, Dani was with her sister in New York, and I was also with my brother, ironically, in New York. And it allowed me to miss her, even though we were kind of beefing, but it allowed me to still, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's good when your partner can do their own thing. You could do your own thing. Y'all can travel apart. Y'all can, do stuff apart, and it's not an issue. You're not, like, texting them, like, where are you? What are you doing? Da-da-da, and vice versa. Like, it's good when y'all have your own things. They say absence make the heart grow fonder. So, I do believe that. But it was just kind of cool. Like, you know what I mean? We're in the same city, or we could have been together, but it's just like, nah, you do your thing, I do my thing. And
like, we crossed paths when we needed to.
Yeah.
And then that was it. And it was good. Like, we were keeping up with each other, like, as far as, like, talking about, whatever was going on, or, coordinating, like, what time, we leaving and stuff like that. So, like, the regular stuff. But it was good. And, like, TJ and I, we even had our couples therapy session. Like, he was at a bar or at a restaurant or something like that. I was in New Jersey, and we made it work. And we had our session, and we, TJ was out with his brother. I was out with my sister and her friends. And I was glad to have that time to spend with them, just like I know TJ was glad to have the time to spend with his family and his friends. And like, yeah, like, you don't have to always be up under each other. And the thing is, like, and that's a good thing though too, is because we know we both enjoy the time that we do spend with each other's families. But just when things happen, we double book, like, we divide and conquer, and that works. And it was a lot of fun. And it was even nice being at the baby shower I was at this weekend. It was giving me the energy, the vibe that I kind of hope to have for ours, which is like black ass, good music, good food, chill. Like, I think there was like 2 baby games tops, and everybody was just fellowshipping, and I loved it. So that being said, our relationship tips are wrapped up, and now it is time for our Black History Fact for this week. I'll go first, and then you can end it. And on this day, by the time you guys are hearing this, which is June 28th, Monday, June 28th, the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously overturned the draft evasion conviction of the Muhammad Ali. So, if anyone is unfamiliar, during the Vietnam War, Muhammad Ali was drafted by the United States government, but he refused to fight because he felt like, why am I gonna go? I come from poor black people over here. Why am I gonna go kill poor Asian people over there? And he refused to do that, so he was convicted of like draft dodging. But
that's so crazy.
What?
Because it's like we were good enough to fight for you. We're like, you know what I mean? Like the fact, we gotta go fight this war. Now black people could be here, and even then, they still treated black people terrible.
Yeah, we were still dispensable.
And then I may have said it on a previous episode, but the black soldiers used to have to come home and not come home in their uniform because they used to hang them in their uniform. Like, how crazy is it that you hate us so much that when you need us, we're good for you, and even then, we're still not good enough for you. But we need you. It's kind of like, I'm going to pick you because I have to.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
wait, and then I just learned about something just earlier today. I was on Twitter, and they were talking about this, like, battle that happened in England during World War II. And, of course, something that's never shared with us, and it was called the Battle of, oh, gosh. Of course, I'm looking for it, but it's too far down her thread. Oh, here it is. So, it was called the Battle of Bamber Bridge, and it started when U.S. military police attempted to arrest African-American soldiers at a local pub, only to be attacked by British locals and other black troops. This was during the UK during World War II. It says, British locals at the time rejected American attempts to import racial segregation, told that they shouldn't allow African-Americans to mix with... They were told... So, the U.S. military told the British pubs that they shouldn't let blacks mix with whites. So 3 pubs in this Bamber Bridge area put up signs in their windows that said black troops only. So they were like, okay, you don't want us to mix, so now we'll just only serve black troops and local, like British locals. And so after white American military police were driven out of Ye Old Hob Inn, Lancashire, by black GIs, British locals, and soldiers, they returned armed, driving a Jeep mounted with a heavy machine gun. Ensuing firefight has seen 7 U.S. soldiers killed and 1 black GI killed. But then, of course, 39 black American soldiers were arrested for quote-unquote rioting and mutiny in Bamber Bridge. U.S. commanders privately blamed racist white U.S. officers and military police for harassing and using racial slurs against their men. So even though they started it, 39 black soldiers got arrested for rioting and mutiny. And the locals were like, nah, like we're not doing this shit here. We'll serve them. Fuck y'all. And then they try to come and arrest them and get them. And like, I've never heard of that until today. So just to your point about you're good enough to serve, but you're still trying to impose like segregation and rules and stuff like that, and not even your own fucking country.
And that's even dope because, again, it shows that in other countries, they're like, wait, no, that's not right. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that the other countries, like, America's pretty bad. My Black History fact is my fraternity brother, Thurgood Marshall, announces his retirement on June 28th, 1991, 24 years, after 24 years of service. So... he was the Supreme Court Justice, and he retired after 24 years in 1991. So
dope.
And he was the first black Supreme Court Justice. So.
Yes, he was. Too bad he was followed by that coon, Clarence Thomas, but that's neither here nor there.
Shout out to Alphas leading the way.
Yes, there. Shout out to everybody leading the way. I'm just fucking with you. Nah, no, that's really dope. And I didn't realize he only served 24 years. I thought it was longer. But
who has the longest?
I don't know who's been. I'm sure Ruth Bader Ginsburg was up there since she did it all the way till she died. She was holding on because of Trump. But it's a lifetime appointment, so you either have to retire or die.
William O. Douglas.
Yeah, they're trying to strong
years.
They're trying to strong arm, I think Breyer is the name. They're trying to get him out of here so Biden can put another more liberal one up there. So they're calling for his retirement. We'll see if that happens. But now, it is time for TJ's word of the week, where he tries to stump me. Sometimes he succeeds. On rare occasions.
Oh, fuck.
It's what you do.
No, I was trying to pull up the pronunciation because you'd be like, can you pronounce it?
Yeah,
you
because
pronounce it right.
Pronunciation isn't your strong suit.
My name is Dani.
You got mad at me the other day when I tried to correct your pronunciation of a word.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because it's analysis and you fuck it up all the time.
How did I say it?
Because when you mean to say analysis, you say analyst, like the person who does the analysis.
All right.
And I was just trying to help you out. And I was like, analysis. And you're like, what? What did I say? And I was like, you say analyst. What? They are not the same.
You got it. My word of the week is doldrums. Make sure I pronounce it correctly. Doldrums. Doldrums.
I'm sorry, play it a little louder.
Oh my gosh.
I just didn't hear it.
Doldrums. Doldrums. Doldrums.
Doldrums.
Doldrums.
Never heard of it.
A state or period of inactivity, stagnation, or depression. The mortgage market has been in the doldrums for 3 years.
Doldrums.
You got it right.
Aha!
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think that's 2 weeks in a row.
I'm trying to keep the streak continuing. When does the streak start? Is it after 2, or is it like 3 or more?
I think 2.
Okay.
Once it's more than 1, that's a streak.
I know, but there's like a few and many is like a few is like 3 or 4, many is like 5 or more. I was just trying to make sure where I live.
That's what I said. I think.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
Well, shout out to me. And I'm smart, or smartish because I could spell. But thank you for that. 2 weeks in a row. Gonna try and keep it going. And now we're going to switch gears and get into our quarrel or conversation, depending on how things go. And this week, we are going to talk a little bit about, I guess, stress and imposter syndrome and feeling overwhelmed. Things that I think many of us are familiar with. This past week, I've really kind of been having some internal struggles with feeling like I'm just not working at my peak potential right now. Like I'm not focusing enough, or I'm not pushing myself. But then it's like, how did I get this far if I feel like I'm doing not enough and everything at the same time? And it's kind of led to some more, I wouldn't call them flat out arguments with TJ, but some heated conversations around him kind of, I guess, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe being flustered or frustrated at what you feel like is me not demonstrating the level of confidence you think I should possess of myself. And that part is just difficult sometimes, because I feel like, especially with work, right now it's work, sometimes I've had it with parenting or other parts of my life, or being a wife. Right now I just feel like with work, I feel kind of drift, kind of out there flailing in the wind. But there are things I did have a conversation with my sister when we were riding up to New York, and she gave me some good ideas about how to reset and revisit. But I'm someone who operates well with a framework, and in my current position, I don't have a framework. I'm it's not about reinventing the wheel. I have to invent the wheel, and that's not my natural wheelhouse, for lack of a better term, of how I operate or how my mind works. And I'm just sometimes I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall because I just don't know where to start, where to go, who to ask. Sometimes I don't want to ask, or not want to ask. Sometimes I'm hesitant to ask because I feel like I might not. It's am I asking a question I should already know the answer to? And yeah, it's just I am never, every new job I ever get, I hate the uncomfortability that comes along with feeling like you don't know what you're doing. That's one of my biggest, that's probably my most uncomfortable feeling emotionally wise. The feeling of being unclear is so frustrating to me. And it just makes me think how did I make it this far when I feel like there's so little clarity that I'm operating out of. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm tripping sometimes, and maybe I've just been lucky. But what do you think, babe?
I think you need to give yourself more credit. I think you gotta be a little more confident. You did it, you know what I mean? Someone didn't do it for you. You've been doing it by yourself and doing everything else. So the fact that it's just you're questioning yourself, I don't know. I feel like you should be more confident. You've done it.
Yeah, but I guess I feel that way because I feel like I haven't gone hard in the paint every single second of every single day.
So imagine you are not giving 100% and you're doing it. Mm-hmm. I mean, more than anything, I can understand whatever, but you're not doing 100%, or you're not giving it your all because you don't know how to, or you're afraid to.
Or sometimes I feel like I'm spread too thin.
Yeah, but if you're spread too thin, that's when you got to set up your boundaries so that way you're not spread too thin. You know what I mean? It's okay to say, I don't want to do this, or I can't do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. But it's just I also I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to miss out on stuff, or I'm holding other people back, or I'm, if
I know, but if you hold someone back, someone will tell you, hey, you're holding us back, or whatever. I can't see them not doing that. I can't see it being a thing no, Dani, you're wrong on this situation, or whatever. So, personally.
Yeah. I mean, and I know this thing will come and go, and I feel I think I'm also a little nervous because I'm leading up this project, I'm running these committees,
But you're built for it.
I know, but I feel like I'm not. Sometimes I feel like I'm still like.
Well, that may be the overwhelm. Maybe because you are overwhelmed. I mean, listen, I get there. I get overwhelmed. I don't like when things aren't not organized well enough for me, or if it like the idea shifts. Mm-hmm. That can be hard for me. But if you're giving it, well, again, you're not 100% giving it your all. But I'm saying, like, if you're giving it your all, it's nothing that you can't do. I think it is because we are in these positions that are different. And we've never been in these type of positions, and you don't want to mess up because it's kind of like if you mess up, you know, like you're going up, you don't want to.
It's a fear of failure. Yeah, it's a fear of failure. And
what I've learned is failure. It's only a failure if you don't learn from it.
Yeah, and I just don't want to embarrass myself. And like I say that it's not that I don't give myself. It's not like I just bullshit and pussyfoot all day every day. It's just that like. I have days where I'm like, ooh, I've been super productive. I was bossing up. And then other days I'm like, I'm home. And like being home, COVID and this time frame, it's like I'm home. But like, it's really hard to just be like, I'm only in work mode when I'm home, when Tatum's here. Or even if I'm by myself and I'm like, okay, I'm finally alone. TJ's gone. Tatum's gone. I can do a load of laundry. I could put this away. Oh, I needed to grab this. Oh, I needed to order this. I need to make sure that we have this for the house. And it's like these competing priorities. And I guess it's because I'm trying to do work in one setting, but the setting I'm in is meant for home. And it's like, it gets kind of mixed up. And so I just feel like I'm juggling both, and then like when the weekend comes, that's like the time where I just want to like decompress, and I want to not think about all the things I'm thinking about during the week. So like when it comes to like all the household responsibilities, all the work responsibilities, I just want to see the people I love and hang out and do that. And so
you're speaking to the choir, love. I feel you. Yeah. I feel you. And I think it's important that we kind of talk these things through so we can figure it out, because I get you. Give yourself grace, control the things you can control, and set the boundaries.
Yeah, because I worry. I'm like, they're gonna be like, we have no use for you. You haven't produced anything. Like, why are we keeping you here? Like, we'll just save money in the budget, because everything in schools systems come down to budget. And like, my position isn't like they joke. It's not the joke, but like a common saying is like the safest place is the classroom, because like there's teacher shortage, so niggas need teachers. But coming out of the classroom means sometimes I feel like I'm on a tightrope of sorts, or like I've been given grace. Am I taking advantage? Am I I don't even know. And that's why I get nervous. And then like I'm about to have this baby, so then I'm gonna be out again, and what is that gonna look and feel like? And like, am I just, I don't know. I just sometimes, I guess I go back and forth with like, am I enough? Am I doing enough? And am I enough? And I know the answer 89% of the time is yes. But there's like 11% of the time where I'm just like, I feel like I'm falling short in some capacity. Or it's like, if I'm giving my all to work in this moment, I'm slipping on my pimping when it comes to mom, to Tatum, being a mom to Tatum, or to giving you your attention. And then sometimes, TJ comes in and he's having a bad day, so I'm trying to also be supportive of him, or I'm trying to help him with something, because he,
Yeah, but not every day you're going to be the most perfect wife or mother or whatever, and you have to give yourself that grace, period.
I know. It's and like,
it's not intentional. We're humans.
I know.
We're figuring it out.
I know.
But you have to be nicer to yourself because you know what you're doing.
Yeah. I feel like I don't, and I hate that feeling. For like this is not to sound cocky, for lack of a better term, but like, I do know I'm a smart person. And I do like feel like I know what I'm talking about. So when I feel like I don't know what I'm talking about, that shit makes me like, me want to like scratch my brain from the inside. Like, I can't explain it. Like, it's such an uncomfortable feeling for me to feel like, especially like if it's something I feel like I'm supposed to know but I don't know. That frustrates me. And but
you have to figure out why that frustrates you. You have to figure out why, because again, we're not going to know everything.
We're not. It's for me. It's a little more specific of like feeling like I don't know things I'm supposed to know about.
I know, but what things are you supposed to know about that you don't feel like you know about?
Stuff with work, and and because I don't know everybody who I should talk to, but then it's like I could probably stand to be more like just like throwing myself out there, like, hey, who do I follow up with this or who do I follow up with that on? But sometimes I get overwhelmed and I'm like, I don't even know where to start, and it's like some people don't even know I exist in the district because of my position, and I just like I need a win. I need something tangible to say I did this, I saw this through, I led this. Dani is valuable, and that's the pressure I'm putting on myself.
I know, but exactly, you're putting pressure on yourself. If they didn't think that you were valuable or anything like that, they would have let you know.
I know.
So it's not a thing of.
Maybe it's just the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I definitely think it is. I think you need to get out of your head and under.
I do need to get out of my head. I'm tired of being in my head. I overthink a lot of things, and this is one of them. And I'm tired. We're sitting here recording, and I'm thinking about the 12 different things I need to get done before 11 a.m. tomorrow.
So stop thinking about it.
I know. The fact that I went to my home chapters, like our 46th charter day just passed, and they had this nice little like picnic thing at the park, and I wasn't gonna go. I was like, I'm just gonna stay home. I gotta do work. We just got back from New York. We're in Maryland, but I went because I'm like, I don't get these opportunities that often. But then I'm like, I just don't want to feel guilty about it either. But it's just one of those ebbs and flows, like sometimes you have them where you feel like kind of like nothing's going right in the professional realm, and you know what I mean, babe? And now I'm just kind of having that moment, and I think I just get anxiety about it because I feel like I've got 2.5 months to like prove myself for what over a year's worth of time.
But why do you feel that way?
Because I'm going out, I'm going to have a baby and be out for a while, so it's not like I'm going to have time to make up for it, to like to make sure I end on a high note, so that way people will be like,
I know. So have you had a conversation with your boss and told her how you feel? Have you said, hey, I feel like I'm not doing well, so I need you to let me know if I am? Or
not explicitly, no. Recently I've talked to like our office manager, and she said, she was like, she told me like nobody's like tripping off of me or thinking I'm not pulling my weight or anything like that. She was like, if she heard that, she would like drop me a line, and I definitely trust her to have my back with that. But it's what I feel. It's like I feel like I'm not doing enough.
Okay, and that's gonna make you go crazy.
Yeah, I know.
You don't know, because again, there's people who have strokes and heart attacks and all this other stuff because they carry stress. At the end of the day, if you're doing your job, some days you're going to be 100%, some days maybe 50%, some days maybe 25%, then you may go up to 75%, you may be at a constant 80%. Like, if you're doing work and you're actually doing stuff, then you're doing it.
Yeah.
I
wish I could just clone myself. Perfect. That's what I wish. I wish I could clone myself, but you're right.
You're not going to be perfect. You're trying to be perfect. You got to stop trying to make situations the way that you think it needs to be. You want to be in control. You don't have control. You wanted to have a vaginal birth. You had a C-section. Like,
I know.
You was trying to go natural. You had to get an epidural. Like, every time that and then you get upset. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's kind of like you want to be in pain.
I guess I feel like, I don't know. I guess I feel like if I'm not overwhelmed or feeling as stressed as the people next to me, then maybe I'm not working hard enough.
But how do you know if they're stressed, or how do you know?
Everybody else is so stressed. Everybody else is so.
But you're stressed too. I'm so confused.
I am, but I guess for different reasons. I recognize that this. When I hope to anybody that's listening to this can follow me on this, is like, I recognize that what I'm saying isn't logical, but I also hope that people recognize that what I'm saying is like not uncommon for people to feel like this. And that's why I'm just sharing about it.
Yeah, but even if people feel that way, like, what does it have to do with?
Because that way it also makes me feel like I'm not alone in it. That's all.
I know, but even if you were alone, if you were, then you were. See, again, you're trying to control the narrative. You're trying to control the situation, and you can't control life. You're worrying too much about the other things. You care about what people think. You care how people may interact. You care way too much about other things. You care about people's opinions and how somebody else may interpret their opinions. Like, you can't control those things.
I know, and I'm working on it.
Like, you want you want everyone to be happy. Like, you don't want racism and all this other stuff. And nobody wants those things, but that's the world that we live in.
I understand that. And what I said was, my pendulum swing, because, we often talk about how you always go from one end of the spectrum to the other. There's no middle ground. My pendulum swing sometimes is that I care too much or I don't care at all. And I need to find, like, more of a meeting in the middle. But I'm trying. I am really trying. But I appreciate your words of encouragement and your feedback, because I need it. And sometimes I need, like, gentle but firm support from you. Like, you got this. You can do this.
But I always tell you that.
No, you do. But, I'm just,
I'm
reinforcing the things that I want from you versus,
I got you.
The stuff is like, you're just you're tripping. Why are you, that's stupid for you to think like that. Like, it's just like, affirm my feelings and then tell me and give me encouraging words. What were you saying though?
No, I'm saying that I think you got it all. So it's just like to hear somebody who, when I look at you, I'm like, yo, she's knocking shit out. She's multitasking. She's really doing it. And you're talking about it as if it's like you're not doing it. I'm just like, are we not looking at the same thing? Are we not, you know what I mean? Like,
perception is reality, for real. I think you knock it out the park all the time. You're always taking calls. You're answering emails. You're doing this. People call you and you have the answers. Like, you know what you're talking about. And I'm like,
sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But, if I don't have the answer, I'll tell somebody I don't have the answer and I'm going to look into it. But, like, I'm very honest. I'm very honest about what it is. And what I've learned is communication is key. And that's why I asked, have you spoken to your boss and kind of brought your fears to her? Because,
well, I haven't specifically talked to her about that, but we haven't had an opportunity to link up because she has very little bandwidth. So it's like our schedules crosswise. She was out for vacation last week.
Well, I won't say, your manager, if you ask for a one-on-one, if you ask to speak to you, they should make the time. And again,
in all fairness, I haven't asked for
okay, so then,
like I need to talk to you. I haven't been like that either.
I got you. And I'm only saying do that if you are really worried. But other than that, like, your manager's job is to manage you and to make sure that you're good. So if you said, hey, I needed to speak to you, and your manager said, hey, I'm too busy, that would be crazy. And I don't think that would be the case. I think that they would be like, okay, let's put some time in your schedule and then go from there. Like, I think it's okay for us to have the conversation and inquire. Like, your manager, the boss of the company, like, we're human beings. We got to be able to have true conversations. And it's not saying I'm not going to do my job or whatever. It's saying I'm kind of confused where I'm at and I just want to make sure that I'm doing well. I'm in a class right now and I had very much anxiety, and because I'm a big believer, like, when you're doing school or whatever, if you, like, bother the teacher, like, ask questions or make them, call them out, then now they're going to attack you. They're going to look out for you. But I'm 6 weeks in and we've done multiple assignments and there's no grade up there. And I'm like, I put it inside a discussion board because I seen that one of my colleagues, classmates, put it in there. She didn't respond to him. She didn't respond to me. So I sent her an email and I said, hey professor, I'm just sending you an email to check on you, make sure that you're okay. And then I went into whatever and she responded and it was probably like, yeah, I'm good, but don't worry about the grades, I'm sure you're fine. But it was still like, I'm pretty sure I may have caught her off guard. But for me, I'm like I paid money for this. I need this. I need to pass this class. So I'm not afraid to ask the questions just to make sure, because at the end of the day, if I don't ask the question and I'm failing or whatever the case may be, I can't go back and be like, well, you should have told me or whatever. I have no paper trail to show that. But now I can say, hey, I reached out to her and I told her she hasn't posted any grades. And here go other stuff. So it's really a way to kind of CYA, cover your ass. But I feel like we have to be okay with doing the things that we think people wouldn't like or whatever. And again, you have a big thing of thinking for other people because you want to control the situation. You want everybody happy. You don't know what your boss schedule is like. Just because she has meetings, whatever, unless she told you, hey, Danielle, I'm swamped, and then that's different. But you can't assume that she's super swamped because what if she's organized her life to a way where she can have 15 meetings in a day and it doesn't bother her, or she can stay up late. But you are trying to assume how she is or how she could be, or because again, you always try to control the situation and you can't control it.
I know. I do try to sometimes. I think for other people come and try to in the spirit of being considerate, but it sometimes blows up in my face. So just another thing on the list for me to work on. But I appreciate the conversation.
I do too.
Well, that's all I got right now. How about you?
Yeah, I don't have much else, but I do want you to, you got to know your worth, regardless of the situation, regardless of what you think, because it's not about what Danielle thinks, it is about what Danielle thinks, but if you think negative, you're going to push out negative.
I know.
You have to, wake up in the morning, remember who you are, remember the accomplishments you did. Like I said, when we were at T. Rowe Price, you were there for 4 years, and in 4 years, you had 3 different positions in the organization. I was there for 5 years, and I went from an intern to one position. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that was probably easier for you at that time. And again, we have to also remember where we're at in our lives, work-wise. We're at a higher level. So we have more shit that we have to do. You know what I mean? When you were younger, it was easier. Mm-hmm. When I was just a customer service rep, that was it. Mm-hmm. Now, when I leave from work, again, I have a work cell phone. I have an email that a brother may send an email at midnight. I've had that. Mm-hmm. Now I have to manage it. So we have more responsibilities. It's kind of like when they say more money, more problems. It's more experience, more problems. As you grow and as you get more responsibilities in the workforce, things may get busier. I never understood it because, again, when you became a teacher, you were like, I have all this stuff. I understand it because work-wise, we weren't doing the same thing. Yeah. But when I came to my job and I was managing, I'm like, oh, this is different. Yeah. Okay. And again, it gave me appreciation for the employee that I used to be. Mm-hmm. I can understand why my managers probably didn't like me. Mm-hmm. I can understand because, I was trying to cut corners and I was trying to find ways to, this is the rule, but I'm going to find a way because I knew better. I understand that. I understand it so much more because it's like the managers just wanted to do their job and manage. And I gave them a hard time because I was in my head because of whatever. Because I did not know any better. Yeah. So now that I know better, I'm like, I get it. It helps me manage my employees better. I understand it. I'm not going to, what's the solution? Let's figure it out. Even that, you know what I mean? I used to hate when I was in retail and a manager will tell you, you can't do something. So, or well, not you, but that the customer can't get a discount or whatever. And then you tell the customer this. They say, I want to speak to the manager. You go get the manager comes out, they have a conversation, and then the manager gives them a discount. And now you're looking like a fucking idiot because you told them you couldn't do it, and the manager said...
Comes in looking like the hero.
Yeah. When all the manager had to do is be like, go ahead, you can do it. Because if I empower my staff, they're going to feel empowered. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Morale is so important. But I used to hate that. So I would make sure I would never do that. Mm-hmm. I give people their credit, and I don't manage in that way. Like, hey, these are the things that you can do, and I want to empower you to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, you need some help? Let me send you to this person. I don't have to do it because my people have it to be able to do it as well. And we just have to get into a space where it's okay.
Yeah. I'm trying my best to not live in my own head because sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's dark and frustrating. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, folks, I think this is a good place to wrap things up. If you have any feedback for us, make sure you hit us on Instagram at Lovers Quarrel Show or on Twitter at Lovers Quarrel 7 or email us at loversquarrelshow@gmail.com. Shout out to our girl Court Plus on Instagram. She sent us 2 very thorough, heartfelt, impactful, insightful messages based on like 2 of our more recent episodes, and we really thank you and value your input and your insight. I even read them to like my mother-in-law and my sister because I was like, damn, like sometimes it feels like we're just talking to each other and not to out into the void, but people are listening to us, and to the point that you guys have really gotten to know our personalities well, so you're able to give like feedback that sounds like people we know in real life, or people we know, personally would tell us. And I just want to make sure that we publicly shout her out for taking the time to share her thoughts and feelings, and we hope that we continue to live up to your expectations, girl. But
Facts.
As always, this has been another episode of Lovers Quarrel, and you know that I am your girl Dani.
And I'm your guy TJ.
And we fuss.
We fight.
But we love.
Bye. Love you, Buckethead.
Oh, love you too.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.